Welcome once again to PsychImpact. Now, in this channel, as you know, we're going to talk about anything that makes an impact psychologically. As you know, I'm a psychologist, and very few people out there are going to tell you how to use certain strategies and techniques. And for the most part, what you're going to find out there is that people, even psychologists and colleagues, are going to tell you how to protect yourself. Actually, I'm going to teach you a bit of an offensive stance, meaning that you are actually going to be able to action these techniques to use them at your leisure. And today I would like to talk to you guys and girls about different patterns of manipulative communication. Now, we're going to focus specifically on a couple of things because otherwise we're going to be staying here until Armageddon. So we're going to break this down. The concept that we will talk about today is something called conditioning. Now, conditioning is something that's really well known in the field of psychology. I'm not going to sit here and break it down for you because, again, it'll take too long. But what you need to know is that there are two main elements that we're going to focus on in order to bring about an effective and successful manipulative communication strategy. And the two elements that are of fundamental importance to us are these concepts of reward and punishment. Now, what does that mean? Every time you are communicating with somebody, every time you're interacting with somebody, there are going to be elements and sub-elements in your communication style which either reward or punish the other person. And that generally happens subconsciously, meaning that you're not going to have much conscious control over these elements. Things like, for example, I'm talking right now and I'm sitting here and I'm kind of modulating the way I speak. So you can probably hear from the video, my voice is going up and down. It comes down. If I want to sound a bit more serious, maybe I can sound like this. And if I want to sound a bit more impactful, my vocal tone is going to raise and I'm going to bring it up as I speak. Now, all of these things within a framework of communication, they're going to be rewarding or punishing for the other person. When people are interested, they tend to lean in, and what you're going to notice is that sometimes, without realizing, you're sort of repelling people based on the way you speak to them. Maybe you're leaning in too close, or maybe you're not leaning close enough. Maybe the way you're speaking is a bit too fast. And if you're speaking a bit too fast like this, what that tends to communicate is that you are very anxious. So you want to consciously bring it down, and you want to consciously slow down the way you're kind of delivering. Vocal modulation is something that we're going to talk more about, but right now, these two main concepts of reward and punishment are really fundamental here. One of the first things that you want to learn when it comes to reward and punishment is that things like, for example, complimenting somebody or saying something nice about something can be perceived by the other person as a reward. Now, there's a further element that we need to talk about, because sometimes the reward that you think you are giving to somebody else is actually simply not well received by the other person. Let's say that you're the creepy stalker on the bus that spots a hot-looking chick and you go and sit right next to her. You just don't know whether this girl is already married, maybe she's not heterosexual, maybe she's homosexual. So perhaps your company is simply not welcome. Now, if you approach her and you say, oh, you know what, I really like your hair. What you think you're doing is giving her a compliment, which in theory, that will sound like a reward. But actually what you're doing, if this person is not interested in you, that's going to be perceived as a punishment. So these concepts, like I said, we're going to talk more about them. Right now, all you need to say is you need to become aware that every time you are communicating with somebody, there's going to be an alternation. A lot of the times it's unconscious, but there is going to be an alternation of reward and punishment.